Hi, parents and students. Cruz here. Just wanted to let you know that I am starting my FAFSA form. And so I basically had like, hey, let's get started. And it had my name. I had to do a verification via my phone and logged into FAFSA and they confirmed my email address, my actual address, and then just kind of went from there. And now I have been matched with my FSA ID, and so I'm pretty much ready to start the FAFSA form. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this button, and we'll see where it takes me and see what we what we have here. Okay, so obviously I have a some sort of save key. Temporary use for you or your parent to return and complete this specific FAFSA form. So obviously you can create a key and then re-enter it and have re-enter your old save key to be able to go in to the form that you already started. So that's great because essentially you don't have to go back to the beginning and it just saves your information as you go. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to create a save key, re-enter it, and then go from there. Parents and students, now I'm on to this next form. So I created my save key, and basically it gives us kind of an introduction and a review of completing your FAFSA, the steps to complete it, how long will it take to complete, can I save my FAFSA if I can't finish it? And so if you drop down, it basically just sort of lets you know the documents that you'll need, how do I sign it? And so they basically give you all the information with respect to the FAFSA. And if you wanted to see about how long it should take less than 1 hour to complete, depending on your answers or whether you have the necessary information available. So just wanted to let you know this is the next step, and we're going to go ahead and click down to the bottom to where it says continue. So definitely here we see the personal information, and I know if I scroll down, it's going to share my personal information, students and parents. So I'm going to pause there, confirm the information, and then we'll go to the next one. So I confirmed just some personal information, and then the next part has to do with student email and phone, and then we want to confirm that and go on to the next step. Now we're confirming the student address. Again, I had mentioned in a previous video that the most important part is ensuring that you have a solid address that you know will be there for a very long time, and that you're not putting in an address where you know you may move and then move again and then move. So please make sure that you put an address that is stable. All right, next up, student and parents, we have student residency and eligibility, and they basically go through and ask you whether you've lived in the state for 5 years or more, or for a certain amount, and then you want to go ahead and recognize that, and then move on to the next step. Now, students and parents, we're going on to student education section, and so we'll see what that information has, and then we'll sort of go from there and see what we have. So scrolling down again, the previous one involved whether I was a resident, and just kind of going through the process in that case. And so I was having to recognize when I was and when I wasn't, and had to look at some old identification information. So now we're on to the student education part, where basically, you know, your high school completion date, your college degree, and bachelor's, and just a lot of other questions that you may or may not have to answer depending on your situation. So I'm going to go ahead and fill out that part, and then we will continue on with the next section. Hopefully, we'll be finishing up student demographics soon. Next up, parents and students, we have the student driver's license. So they're looking for your driver's license number and information and the state. And notice that it says if you have one. So if you have a driver's license, they're asking for that information. All right, students, now that you've put in your driver's license information, the next section involves student foster care and parent education completion. section. And so you want to answer questions of, are you a foster youth? Were you in the foster care system at any time? And then it goes into asking for information about your parents. So again, that's the next section in the student demographics section. Now we're on to the next section, which is school selection. So here it says my application was successfully saved. Yay! So I've completed student demographics. Now we're going through the school selection. And so here is where you are identifying your school, which is super important because again, that's where the money is going to that school. Parents and students, once you've selected your school, it actually gives you an opportunity to select more schools. And now it's asking for housing and information. So as you're filling out that part of the form, I'm going to fill it out as well, and then we will reunite soon enough. All right, students and parents, the school selection has been completed. Next part is the student marital status. And so you'll want to basically give your information as far as your marital status. And I love how they say application was successfully saved. And it's going, again, one step at a time, which is fantastic and making you feel like you accomplished 2 tasks, 2 check marks, and then it goes from there. So now I'm going to fill this part out and then again, continue on to the next section. Now, students and parents, it's asking for whether or not the student has dependents. And so you'll definitely want to fill out that section as well. And then we'll get to the parent demographics maybe soon enough. We shall see. Okay, now students and parents, we're getting to the student household information where you're letting them know, how many college students are in the household. And again, just a couple of questions that I saw on this one. Definitely something that's doable based on what I saw. All right, now students and parents, this is where it gets to be interesting because at this point, most students would probably fall under the dependency status. However, because I am an adult filling this out, I am considered an independent student. That means I am not required to answer questions about my parents. And so again, this is where it gets a little bit interesting, and I may lose some of you in the parent demographics and the parent financial section. And so again, I apologize for that, but I just do not fall under this category. So hopefully at this point, you'll still kind of follow along with me to the end. But what I do like about the FAFSA, again, you can see that it's very, just brief in every section. They ask you 1 or 2 questions, and then you move on to the next step, which is extremely helpful and useful in the process. Okay, notice parents and students that once they had the status as independent, it jumped immediately to student financials. And so in that case, it asks for the student tax filing status, and they go on to basically report that, you have to attention, you must provide financial information from your 2021 tax return on the following pages. And they basically go through that with you. So they're letting you know, hey, before you begin this section, you need to know that you're going to need some information here. So just letting you know, parents and students, again, that they at least forewarn you of information that they will need, and and they update you about that. So as I continue this process, again, I wish you well in this on this endeavor of the FAFSA. As you can see, parents and students, it really is not that painful. It is much easier than I remember when I was in high school filling out the FAFSA form. It's very user friendly. I love how, again, they just give you these check marks and you go through the information just one piece at a time rather than all at once. So it's just very user friendly, and I appreciate that. And as I continue my process, again, I'll start to put in my financials information. But I hope this video was just helpful for you to at least see, okay, this is really not that bad. And I think I can handle it, with my mom and dad there or by myself and just filling out this form. I think the main thing that you need to remember, students and parents, is that you, number one, have all the forms that you need with you ahead of time. And then number two, that you remember that you have to fill out the FAFSA form every single year. So it's not just year one and then the money appears the next school year. That is not the case. You have to fill out the FAFSA every single year that you are enrolling in school. So I wish you well on this endeavor, students and parents, and I hope this video helped to clarify how the FAFSA looks and took some of the mystery out of the FAFSA. Thank you so much for watching these videos, and I wish you well and good luck on your FAFSA for the 2023-2024 calendar year. Take care, parents and students.